Hello everyone and welcome to Maggie's Possum Journey. Well, this time of the year, I think all of us are in travel mood, and so are we at Maggie's Little World. Maggie, is all time ready for road trips or just simply hopping onto the car and giving a spin in the neighborhood. But this time we realized let's do something different and let's go for a road trip to the beautiful places of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. We'll let you know what these places are eventually, but let me just tell you that this entire trip was full of adventure, full of natural beauty, new experiences, and we absolutely loved them all. So the first day, we started off from our home at 3 a.m. in the morning. We decided that we're going to start off so early because it was a very long route, and only if we start off so early, we'll be able to cover a lot of distance during time without traffic or any of it, and even our exertions will be less. So our first stop once the sun was up was for breakfast. We gave Maggie some breakfast and we gave her water and some walk. It was a good exercise for her leg, and we told her, Maggie, now that you've eaten, we are going to go and have our breakfast. So we just headed quickly towards an authentic South Indian eatery which was making and serving fresh South Indian hot piping food. And that's the best kind for any kind of travel, We just loved any kind of authentic food that we have. So we quickly grabbed a bite, didn't waste too much of time, quickly took our selfies, gave Maggie one more set of walk, and now headed for the roads. The sun was up. It was almost 7:30 or 8 in the morning, and the skies were mesmerizing, as you can see. Clear skies, beautiful roads, and because we had covered a lot of distance since morning, now my husband was at peace that we'll be able to reach on time and be able to utilize the best time of the day. Now, how did we start off for this road trip? Let me tell you. We were planning since October, and we were like, we have never done such a thing, let us try. Whenever we take Maggie out with us, it is important that we have a good pet-friendly resort. And our limitations come forth because we have pet-friendly options as very little even today. I would request more people to actually open up pet-friendly options into their resorts. It really helps pet parents, But nevertheless, the scenario becomes better every year. That is what we have experienced. So this year as well, once all our resorts were booked, because it was a road trip, we were in our own car, so only the resorts were what we had to worry. So once we finished off with all the bookings, I called up my parents telling them that, we're going for this exciting road trip, and Maggie is going to be with us this time. I also asked them, are you going to be free this year at that time? If yes, why don't you come over and join this trip? So my mother immediately said, yes, of course, we are not doing anything. We'll be over with our little trips, so we'll come over. Well, luckily everything fell sorted and we were at their time of convenience as well. And my parents also joined in, which was a double bonus for this trip, because this had never happened. So many days with my parents, with Maggie on the road, and with us as well. We also have never done such a long road trip ever. We've had short 3 days maximum, 3 to 4 days on the roads, but this was going to be an experience for us. Let's see how it goes. So far it was very thrilling and we were excited to cover all these places. We mostly are going to visit all the places for the first time. It's just that by the end we're going to come in the place that we have chosen. We had already visited it once, my husband and I, but we never went with Maggie or my parents, so it's going to be a new place for them as well. Well, what can I tell you about the roads? It was so mesmerizing that in between we had to take a little break. You can see happy us, happy Maggie. So this time we stopped to take a coconut water break because just opposite to that there was this beautiful lake. The color of it was just so beautiful, dark blue. And you can see my husband went on the other side of the road and took this little video to actually capture the beauty of it. But again, we realized we cannot make so many stops or we're going to be late for our destination. So my husband said, come on, let's start the journey again. We started and I just couldn't take my eyes off the beautiful sceneries. Maggie, of course, sitting inside the car was so happy. She just couldn't stop smiling. We would put her into a seat telling her to sit down because her legs would hurt. The next second she would get up again and look at the coconut trees and the mountains and the blue skies, and also the horns of other big buses were making her very excited. All I can tell you is that all this nature was actually making us detoxify with all the normal chores of our life and all the things that we have in our day-to-day life, as if nature was pulling everything off. My mother kept saying that, if I look into so many greens throughout the day, my eyesight would improve. I'm sure it would. The main thing is nature itself is such a therapy. And there was at one point, apart from the coconut trees, which are obvious, far off, there were a lot of mountains that we could see, and very large mountains at that. And we realized that probably we were heading towards those mountains itself. But look at this surprising sight. From far away, it looked like as if they were mountains full of snow, almost similar to the Kanchenjunga that we had visited. I cannot tell you how surprised we suddenly were. We realized, are they snow-cladded mountains? What are they from so far away? And even you can have a look at it. For once, even you would be a little confused as to what they were, but they were just clouds. So we took our first stop as we headed towards the destination of Munnar. Maggie met many friends on the road. This time, why did we stop? Because we saw this beautiful waterfall. Beautiful because it was water, and we were a little disappointed because this is not the right time to see waterfalls. So the water and the strength of it was quite less. But Maggie nevertheless loves water. And because we took this halt, she kept telling us to take her down more close to the water. Well, of course, that couldn't be done. So we told her, Maggie, no, you can't jump. She would have almost jumped out of there to get into the water. So we told her, no more. Just stay there and we will take photographs and you meet all the people that you want. She met so many people here and she was so happy, and everybody stopped. They asked us everything about Maggie and how is her temperament and is she friendly. And well, Maggie loves it the most, and this time as well, she had the most fun break. So after we saw the waterfalls, we took some photographs, met so many people, we headed back. Now we were almost close to the resort because we were almost close to the town of Munnar. Munnar, as we all know, is a hill station and is very famous for its scenic beauty, tea gardens. But for us, it was the beginning of a very scary episode, let me share with you. Because of some program that was going to be held in the main city, the maps actually routed us to a different route. We were a little suspicious looking at the roads because they were very narrow, very hilly and very steep. Almost did not seem like we were going towards our resort. Our resort was in a quite popular place and we didn't expect such a road to come about. So this time when we covered a couple of steeps and couple of roads which actually didn't seem like roads, my husband was also saying this doesn't seem like the right route. But this was all the map showed us, and we didn't have an option. There were no signboards. We couldn't take anything that was unusual. Well, so for that one particular steep, we actually got completely stuck, and the car just won't move ahead. On the contrary, the car actually started sliding by inches. There was this huge steep down and we would fall right into a dump on the left hand side. On the right hand side also, we didn't have much of the road. The first thing that came to our instances was to make the car a little light. So my husband took control of the car as much as he could, and my mother and father and myself, we got off the car immediately. We were looking for stones so that we could put on under the wheels. There were no stones, and we tried putting the few that we got, but none of them were actually stopping the car from sliding away. Now, at this point, let me tell you, Maggie generally screams her heart off whenever we are off the car, but this time she sensed a grave danger. She placed herself quietly in the center of the back seat, which had the most balancing aspect, and she was completely quiet with not a single sound out of her mouth. She knew that there was something, and this time it was not fun, and she needs to cooperate with the family to get out of this timing. I called up the resort and the manager because that was the only thing that came to my mind. They came, they rescued us, and they got us back to the resort, and a big thank you to them. Well, we were all scared of this situation, but when we once entered the resort, we sighed a relief. My husband was not talking all this while, he was really scared. But once we reached, we thanked God that we were out of this situation, and we enjoyed the scenic beauty that was around. That day we realized that that evening we will only enjoy the scenic beauty of the resort, have a good time, and we will not move out. The next day, of course, was filled with a lot of excitement, and I will share the story of the next day. But for now, with this exhaustive story, I would end today's episode. If you've liked today's episode, do like, share, and comment, and also share Maggie's channel to more dog lovers. I would love everyone across to hear Maggie's stories and fall in love with Maggie's cuteness. But till then, you watch the reels that we have made and enjoy our travel stories. Until then, Maggie would love to say lots of hugs, I love you, and bye-bye from the little world of Maggie. Bye for now. Hugs from Maggie.